You're listening to my cousin DLils on
It's DLils, you rockin' with hip hop and home runs. We don't criticize pros, man, it's all fun. Urban media, yeah, we talking sports, debating issues, spitting game on and off the court. It's hip hop and home runs.
Hip Hop and Home Runs.com.
Moving on to the other DeAndre. So I listen to Dan Le Batard all week, and I like Dan typically. But, these guys are all over DeAndre. And my thing about it is, I thought, okay, what's a good question to pose to my followers? What was worse? The LeBron James decision or the DeAndre Jordan changing of mind? It's got to be the DeAndre Jordan. Let me just tell you straight up, I was never a guy who felt that LeBron's decision was a bad thing. He donated all the money that promotion gained to charity. He made a decision on network television, and the money that was accrued from ratings he gave to a charity. I don't know how that could be a bad thing. I really don't. I'm sorry. You'll never hear me say the decision was a bad move by LeBron. Yeah, to the major networks, ESPN and the analysts out here that overreact to things, yeah, they're gonna think it's bad. But someone who was truly looking, it wasn't a bad thing. So it wasn't a bad thing as far as DeAndre being has changed his mind. But this is my thing. In comparison to LeBron's decision, much worse. Me personally, I think he comes off a little bit like a chump. For you to not get in contact. And I know what Doc said, the agents do that. Nah, you should always stand on your first. You should always, manhood is, my first cardinal principle. So, you always want to do things that are display of your manhood and your integrity. And you always want to keep that first in anything that you do. And DeAndre just let it slip. Now, do I think he's a bad guy? No, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a chump. That's all. It's not two very different things here. But him going back to Los Angeles. Chandler Parsons was right. DeAndre is not ready to be a franchise player. He's not Shaq dominant. Shaq had versatility. Shaq was very agile. DeAndre is very athletic. They're two different type of body builds almost, I want to say. Shaq had that DeAndre athleticism, but he was just overwhelmingly powerful. I don't see that power when I see DeAndre. Outside of catching a oop on a pick and roll, what has he done? I've never seen him shoulder shrug, turn around for a left hand hook over the shoulder. I've never seen him back down, up and under. I haven't seen that. Somebody pull up the YouTube video and show me that on a consistent. And it better not be against the Hornets or the Milwaukee Bucks, for crying out loud. DeAndre Jordan's a chump. Moving on. Hey, while we're on basketball, Caron Butler is still getting 2-year deals? Today, Caron Butler signed a 2-year deal with Sacramento. What? Caron Butler still... Have you guys seen Caron Butler? He looks like a grandpa who's going fishing. And taking his grandkids. 2 years in Sacramento? His last season that counted was 2006 in Miami. I haven't followed his career since then. But he's not a Grant Hill type of player. He's not a Shane Battier that he's that fundamentally sound and that much of a defensive stopper. He's a liability on the floor. And you just paid him for 2 more years. I got to talk to these guys at Sacramento. Big news for the Cowboys. Greg Hardy's suspension reduced today. That's a reason to celebrate. If that's not a reason to go to the bar and get a drink in Dallas, I don't know what it is. From 10 to 4 games, the NFC East is Dallas's to lose. Mark my words. The NFC East is Dallas's to lose. I mean, you have Greg Hardy. I mean, Randy Gregory's already going to be getting that work in practice against that offensive line. Then you're going to add Greg Hardy to the opposite. NFC East is Dallas's division to lose. Mark my words. Next week we're going. We're doing our divisional breakdown. I'm having the Swan as a guest on the show. Let's stay in the NFC East real quick. I want to talk about Jason Pierre-Paul. Blew off his finger. Firework accident. Pros don't get it. Don't give me $25 million. I'm not doing nothing but going to the bank. These guys are ridiculous. Ain't no fireworks. Can't you pay somebody to do that? Can't you guys pay somebody to take you to the bar and back? Give me a break. Russell Wilson had a sit down at the Rock Church in San Diego this week. And, he was asked about him and Ciara's relationship. They're remaining abstinent. I think that's wonderful. Russell Wilson, he is a role model. He's not just an NFL superstar. He's a role model in today's sports society. And, I just feel like he's so much more effective than Tebow. A guy that's actually winning and wears the Lord on his sleeve is so much more effective as a famous Christian than Tim Tebow. And that's not knocking Tebow. I'm just saying this is good for all Christian folk in general. For him to come out there and really tell kids like, hey, I got one of the baddest girls in the game in Ciara. Ciara has a kid. I'm sure they both have had intercourse before. But for them to say, no, we're going to shut it down, until the time is right, until, one of us get married, or whatever the case is, they're abstaining from sex. That's 2 thumbs up to Russell Wilson. I mean, that's commendable. I just want to give him a round of applause for that. That's impressive. Last thing I want to talk about. I'm going to take a lot of flack for this. Tiger Woods. If we bring up photos of Tiger Woods in 2003, you'll see a very strong man. You see a man who's, at the time we learned, had been cheating on his wife for quite some time. Just testosterone driven. And, now in the past 3 years, you see somebody who is breaking down physically. A lot of injuries. Can't hit the ball as far anymore. Hand-eye coordination a little bit off. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and ain't a damn mongoose. All I'm saying is, again, I just want to say I'm not accusing him of anything, but the things that have happened in Tiger's career are very similar to things that happened with steroid use. Yeah, I said it. If you look at his career, and you look at everything that's happened, and you look at the events and how they've taken place, driven testosterone, body breaks down from injuries, these are all cause and effects of long-term steroid use. Did Tiger Woods use steroids early in his career? That is a question that I'm going to throw out there. I'm not accusing him. I can only offer my opinion. And my opinion is that it's a possibility. It may need to be explored. Me personally, I could care less if it's not explored. He's not relevant anymore. But you guys that like to condemn African American superstars in the country for a certain amount of things, certainly have to take a look at steroid use in golf and whether Tiger indulged in that. So, think about it. You guys do your own research. Go look at the film. Go look at the U.S. Open. It's hiphopandhomeruns.com. DLils.